gone from Super Saver Steve to Dad Steve
in an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Are you going to go upstairs and put on your moccasins and and your robe?
They're sensible and comfortable.
Go up back, smoke a pipe.
Please address me as Hero Steve.
Oh, sorry. Super Saver Steve.
Super Saver Steve. Triple S, they call me.
Sounds like a coupon book. And it's just the
15% off this Sunday.
It's the cartoon version of your stupid face with a big grin,
just with bags of money, like bags in each hand with dollar signs on them. Cut out the yard work.
That's the way it is now, folks. This is the new Steve. This is Dad Steve. He's got thoughts on garage doors being just open in the middle of the afternoon. He's got thoughts on the time of day you mow. You have any thoughts on like traffic light cycles?
Look, if they're not adjusted for the early morning crowd, I still think that's a solid point. I mean, not everybody works the old 9 to 5. Am I right? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hard to argue, I guess. It was just a weird. I get why it would be frustrating.
Yeah. Why should I at 3:45 in the morning? Why should I ever be sitting at a traffic light?
Sure.
There's never anyone coming the other way.
God, that's why this podcast is dying. It's been a week.
I mean, look, there's many reasons why this podcast is dying, and that is just one of them.
It's been a week and we're still lamenting traffic lights.
It is Sunday, November 3rd, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, 9:50 in the morning. A little bit earlier of a start, nearly a very early start.
Yeah.
If this had been any other Saturday or any other Sunday, we would have been done recording by now.
I would be home sipping on my coffee.
Yep.
Watching, I don't know what this morning is. Is it Meet the Press with Charlie Rose or something? Mm-hmm. Is that what's on nowadays?
Of course, yeah.
Catching up on all the hot news this morning. Yeah, the time change when you're two things. When you're a parent and a dog owner.
Yeah.
Those are really two items that it doesn't really matter.
And this today, Sunday, November 3rd, the day of is it the end it's the end of daylight saving time, right?
Yeah. Is that how it is? It's that. So it's that for states that participate.
It's fall back.
It's spring to fall is the daylight saving time.
Yes.
And now we're out of it until next April.
Until next April, yes. This is the only day that you get to complain about it, too. Because if we could do a whole episode on my irrational pet peeves, but one of them is the people that complain about, like, oh, man, dragging this morning because of the time change. Even though in this case it would be...
You gain time.
You gain the hour of sleep. But, like, the whole idea of the time change... of 1 hour, throwing you off that much. Like, there will be people a week after the time change that are still like, just can't get on track after that time change.
Now, Steve,
1 hour.
You're a traveler. You travel a lot for work, but
I'm a traveling man, yeah.
Rambling man.
Rambling, traveling.
But
man.
Before that, even, you did a semester abroad. You went to Spain for the running of the bulls.
Yeah. I did a semester in London and a semester in Madrid.
Man.
Yeah.
You're cultured.
I am a very cultured man.
But you travel a lot, and even to the West Coast from where we are in the Midwest. So asking you as a somewhat grizzled vet, what do you think the difference is of where you can complain about it? The time change / jet lag. Is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? Or do you have to cross an ocean get it to be
3 hours? Definitely.
You can start complaining about it. You think?
Yeah, I think so. That is it. That's a drastic shift. 1 hour is like I can easily lose an hour of sleep just because I got caught up watching a video on YouTube.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, crap. Yeah, I'm going to be a little tired tomorrow, but I'm not going to be tired 3 days from now.
I don't even know. Now, I've visited Las Vegas a handful of times now, and you've been out to the
Windy City, they call it.
The city of brotherly love is what I've heard it referred to as.
Big Apple.
Just gorgeous sights and sounds out there.
The whole enchilada.
The Magic City.
The City of Lights.
Steel City. Mm-hmm. Visited there numerous times, and that's 3 hours different. And maybe it's because it's Las Vegas, so it's a bit of a different vibe there as it is.
Yeah,
but I feel like 3 hours is pretty correctable immediately. You either stay up extra late, it's Las Vegas.
Yeah,
you're probably doing that a lot anyway.
You're not flying out there to see a show at a matinee and then be back in the hotel by 7 o'clock. If you're not me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you're me, that sounds fantastic.
Early night in, blackout drapes are down.
God, yeah. I'm looking for hotels based on their blackout shade selection or interior bedrooms.
I would argue, in my experience anyway, that I don't even think 3 is enough to complain about.
The worst I ever had was when I did that semester in London, and we left the East Coast at 6 p.m., It was a 6-hour flight, and it's a 6-hour time difference. So you essentially lose a full night of sleep. So we got there at midnight, our body's time, but it was 6 a.m.
the next
day.
So
we were it was ready, time to start the day.
The day was starting, and at that point you make a decision. You either try to nap and make it through the day, or you soldier through the day and go to bed that following night.
Yeah.
Like you normally would.
So what we did was, because we got in, I think we flew into Heathrow, which was an hour and a half from where our school was.
Sure.
But by the time, because we were traveling with 40 people, so by the time everyone gets their bags, and it's a bunch of college students too. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
So it takes 9 hours for us to all get our bags. We get our bags, we get to the bus, get checked in, get on the bus. By the time we get to the school, it's probably, I don't know, maybe 4 hours later. So it's 10 a.m. London time now, 4 a.m. our time.
Okay.
And by that point, they just gave us the advice. They were like, stay up. Do not try to take a nap. It's not going to work. So we just stayed up as late as we could. I think we made it to 6 o'clock, and then we were 6 p.m., and then we were done. That's it. And then over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, your body slowly adjusts to it.
Well, because if you're going to bed at 6 o'clock... Ideally, you could sleep for, at that point, all the travel, 12 hours. You're up at 6 a.m., and it's you're a little bit more normalized.
Yeah.
But if not, you're sleeping for, 6 hours, and you're up at midnight again, and you got to restart the entire cycle.
The whole thing.
And next thing you know, Steve's entire semester abroad is spent just wandering the streets of...
just trying to get caught up on sleep.
Of England at 2 in the morning, acting like it's the middle of the day.
What time is it? Yeah, that was rough. But yeah, if you're doing an hour or 2 hours, you cannot complain about it.
I think 3 hours is fair, and I'm not trying to act again, I've only done it a handful of times, but the one time that absolutely wrecked me was Hawaii.
How many hours difference is that? That's
6.
5 or 6, right?
It's 6, but it was during, or it was off daylight saving, whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of those... Whereas 6 or 7, and it's just so weird because I'm planning out, the very few items I wanted to do while I was there. Hey, I just got to make sure I get this done. And one of them was a Detroit Lions football game on a Sunday.
Of course, I mean that is the awesome drawing power of the beautiful island nation. Not nation of Hawaii.
I was simply asking.
Come here for our Lions games.
I was simply asking my brother-in-law to find a bar that is open, and it shouldn't be that hard. I'm not the only one trying to watch football in Hawaii.
Sure. Yeah, football
that was
fans are
open
everywhere.
At 7 a.m. And that's just there's no way to adjust. Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah, but there's no way to adjust. I don't think there's any way to adjust to a 6-hour time difference properly, unless you're staying there to live there.
Yeah,
when you're going there for a week, like we did.
Oh yeah, especially a week. In my case, I was there for 4 months,
right.
3.5 months. So yeah, the first couple days were a little rough, but then you adjust and you're good.
What do you do now? You've done. I don't think you've done any live shows 3 hours different, have you?
No, we can't. It's
because you'd have to be
just doesn't work.
You'd have to be live on the radio at 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
and that wouldn't work.
No, the most we've done is Central Time Zone,
which is just 1
hour.
That's Nashville, right?
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville, 1 hour. Yeah, eesh.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the rough thing is because if we're only going for like the trip that we take there in the summer, it's a pretty quick turnaround. We go there Thursday, we fly back Saturday morning. So we're really only there for 36 hours or so.
That's what, and you were, was it less this time around? This week, the reason we were going to be recording possibly yesterday.
Yeah.
But was this like the shortest trip you've ever taken?
Well, what we do is
outside of Boston.
Yeah, definitely. That was the shortest. But with the side gig, what we do is if it's the second time we come to that market that year, then it's just morning show and then on the first flight back. So we flew there Thursday at 2 p.m. Like our flight left here at 2 p.m. We were supposed to be back Friday at 5 p.m. But our flight out of Albany was scheduled for 1 p.m. So we were at the airport by 11:30 or so.
Show's done.
Get
in the car. You head right to the airport.
Yeah, we were 20 minutes from the airport.
So you had the table that you guys were all broadcasting from. You probably had your luggage beneath your feet.
Yep. Yes. So we get to the airport, and our flight was through Detroit back here to Grand Rapids, and we only had about a 40-hour layover or a 40-minute layover in Detroit, which is short.
Usually okay.
It's short, but it's typically we were flying Delta. It's usually always like, okay, we land at gate A20, and our departure flight is at A30, so it's a 5-minute walk,
right? And
we hop on. Well, this one was that's what it was, or no, it was like we flew into A, but we were leaving from B, so it was going to be a little tight.
Yeah,
no big deal. We had done the same thing on the way there. But then our departure out of Albany got pushed back past the point where we were going to make our connection.
More than 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, so we ended up not leaving there until like 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock, getting to Detroit by 5:30. But then the next available flight was at 8:40, getting us back here at 9:30.
Oh.
And then little extra added fly in the ointment. That would have been fine, because like whatever. I mean, there's nothing we could do. We could have driven from Detroit to Grand Rapids, but for all that hassle, we would have saved like an hour. So we're like, screw it, let's not even bother. So I get back to Grand Rapids at about 9:30 or 9:40. My mom, my sister, my sister-in-law, and my niece were flying in Friday night. So originally, I was supposed to get to Grand Rapids at 5:30. I was going to drive home, hang out for 5 hours or so.
You probably had plans. You probably had, hey, we'll take you out to a steak dinner.
Well, they weren't getting in until 11:30.
Okay.
They had a direct flight that was from 9:30. It took off at 9:30, got in at 11:30. Well, their flight ended up getting pushed back because at that point I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be getting to the airport at 9:30. I'm just going to go sleep in my car for an hour, then come back in, grab something to eat at the airport, and they'll be here. Well, their flight got pushed back, so I got in at 9:30. I drove back to the house. I was here for 1 hour. Then I basically helped Annette get the baby ready for bed, changed the diaper, kind of rocked her a bit because she was being a bit fussy. Fell asleep for about 5 minutes. Then got in the car, drove all the way back to the airport, and picked them up because their flight got in at like 12:30.
Boy, what a trip.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was a fantastic time.
Man, talk about the joy.
Oh, boy. The high-profile lifestyle of a fancy radio guy. Yes.
Oh, man.
But seeing as how we hadn't traveled in a couple of months, I was totally... If this had happened at the end of our travel season, or like right smack dab in the middle of it, I would have been losing my mind. But
well, yeah, and you probably at that point would have been like, I'm sure the entire show would have been discussing lighter travel next year, and we're not doing this stuff again.
Well, we've made a bunch of changes for this upcoming year that will hopefully make things a little bit easier on us. Kind of adjusted some things, and hopefully it makes things a little bit easier. But I mean, when you're ultimately, you can make all the changes in the world you want. You can have all the restrictions in the world you want. Of like, we have to fly at this time on this airline, but all it takes is one delayed flight.
Sure.
And it's completely out of your control. There's nothing I could do about the wind shear in Albany that caused our inbound flight to go to Hartford instead of land in Albany. So
I'm glad you brought up the traveling circus that is your side gig, because we have neglected something that we briefly talked about off air last week, Steve. And I am and that's why I'm glad you brought it up. Do you happen to know your upcoming schedule offhand? Because I believe the next date that you'll be live in person for people to see all 5 monkeys throwing feces at each other in person, will be 3 weeks from, a little over 3 weeks from essentially the time you're listening to this.
Yeah.
This comes out on the 5th, and on the 27th.
Yep. Yeah,
you'll be live.
In Grand Rapids, that is the tradition of doing the show
the day before Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving at the intersection. Yeah, we're doing that again. And then there's only one more in this calendar year, and it is December. Hold on, I have my calendar pulled up. December 13th will be in Portland, Maine.
Okay.
And both of those are morning show only.
So here we are. I need to get us back on track.
Yeah.
With getting that stupid fathead of my face.
Where is that?
I believe it is with our friend Scott Garland.
In Portland?
It might actually still be in Portland.
I feel like the last time I saw it, it was in Portland.
Let me try to pull up, because, again, I haven't communicated with Scott, in probably 6 to 7 months.
That would have been May.
Yeah, and I believe at one point I tried to get him to send it, but I asked him way too late, and it was not able to make it to, I want to say it was Nashville. Now, I'm guessing
that makes sense, because it probably would have been Nashville, the one right after that.
I believe we can probably count on Timmy being there. We just need Timmy.
I don't know, man. The other day, Friday, was the first live show in like a year and a half that I didn't see Timmy. I think his tour of Free Beer and Hot Wings affiliates
has finally come to a conclusion.
Is over, yeah.
So now we have a decision to make, because Scott, our friend Scott, lives in Portland, or lives in Portland, Maine. Now I don't know if Scott's going to the Portland, Maine show in December. Do we simply leave it with him and have him, if he's going to the Portland show, bring it, obviously.
Bring it again.
If not,
I think he needs to pass it off.
Pass the torch to somebody else in
Even
Portland,
if it means
Maine.
just like, while you're standing in line that morning waiting to go in, just kind of like putting it in somebody else's back pocket and being like, that's yours now.
Now, is this a live show where they're going to allow it in Portland? In Portland, they will.
They allowed it in at the show there in May, and it's at the same venue. So I would assume, as long as nothing on the venue's end has changed.
But do you think we have him send it to Grand Rapids for the live show?
Oh, good.
And then somebody can send it to somebody else.
I think so.
In Portland.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you need to come back home. You've been traveling for way too long.
My face is traveling. It has seen as much of the world as Steve.
I think that it's
actually just gone to Portland. That's it.
It's important too, and I think we really have to stress it this time. If you're the lucky recipient of the Kyle Fathead, you need to personalize it before you put it back in the mail.
Yeah.
Like a local brewery's bumper sticker on the back of it, or just something that symbolizes your town, USA.
Well, yeah, and I did put in, there's a big piece of cardboard with instructions on it that tell you kind of what to do, and to make sure to sign your name and date and where you're at on the back beforehand, but that's not a bad idea either.
Yeah. Maybe we can make a love connection. Imagine that. Okay, if you're
over my fathead?
Yes, if you're single and you are the recipient of the Kyle Fathead and you're looking to mingle, maybe write like old 90s style video dating profile.
Yeah.
Write it on there like, single white male looking for...
Hey, girl. What's up?
You like tennis? I like tennis.
And then it gets passed on to the next town because that person doesn't like tennis, or more likely it's a dude passing it to a dude who one doesn't like tennis, and two probably is an
It's
Indian.
worth noting this may be a strictly man-to-man dating service.
Maybe.
Because no woman is going to, A, be interested in receiving this fathead and holding it up at a show, and B, even if they did, no woman is going to write her personal information on the back of it.
Well, that's a bummer, because we have a very strong female listening base to this podcast.
A bunch of...
Lynn drove from the middle of nowhere, Michigan, to come visit us in Van Wert, Ohio. We communicate usually weekly with Nikki. We've sent out a prize pack, and we talked to Crystal, who I believe is in Maine as well, or in New York. We talk to her a lot. There's
That's true.
There's Lauren.
True.
We interact.
I don't know all of their marital statuses though.
No, that's a good point. They might not be looking for that single white male who's into tennis. But if you are, you may be in luck. So this is officially, we're putting the call out.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in 3 weeks at the Grand Rapids Morning Show the day before Thanksgiving, and you are willing to fly the Kyle Fathead loud and proud, in my memory and my honor of me not being there, no chance.
Appreciate the support.
Terribly produced.
I always support your job.
Hey, thank you.
We buy Coke products on a regular basis.
Wow, that's very sweet of you. I'm sure
and every time I crack one open and I think, Kyle had something to do with this getting here.
I'm sure that filters down to me. There's no question about that. If you're going to be there, you need to message us on Twitter, message us on Facebook. Please don't make it just a regular tweet at us or a regular post on our wall. It's easier for us. I get a notification if you send us a message.
Yeah.
So that's at Stephen Kyle, Facebook and Twitter. Please send us a message if you're willing to do that, and we will make sure the Fathead gets to you in time. Now,
we also need to make sure that Scott has the Fathead, because
I'll message him right now.
We're not positive.
I'll message him right now.
Although I know that Timmy has about 9 backups that he could send.
Right, if Timmy's still a fan.
Yeah, he might not be.
But just so you know, the responsibility is on you. If you receive the Fathead, at one point, hopefully about a week after that, you will be asked to ship that out to somebody else. It's going to be about $8 to $12. So as long as you're willing to do that.
Yeah, the earlier you send it, obviously, the cheaper it's going to be.
And we can get that onto the next location, and we can continue the what has been defunct world tour of Kyle's Fathead. So please let us know if you're going to be at the Grand Rapids show as soon as possible so we can get that to you. We will pick somebody at random, or more likely whoever messages us first.
Yes. Hey, I thought of something the other day, and I don't know. Like, we've done a good job of eliminating features that we do on this podcast.
We like to take the most listened to items and the most popular things and really tell people we're not doing them anymore.
This is one, though, that I think has to happen.
I'm excited.
I had a lot of fun with it last year, and the year before, and the year before that. That's right. This would be the 4th annual.
Hang on. There's no way we've done something 4 years in a row.
There is.
On time?
There is.
Like
yeah.
We haven't been flustered 1 week before and said, "Oh, hey, about this."
Are we going to do the 4th annual?
Yes.
Steve and Kyle podcast, Cloak and Dagger, non-denominational winter solstice gift exchange?
Absolutely.
It's got to happen.
It'll be the 4th annual for us.
Yes.
It will only be the second annual
for
listener
listeners.
family, non-denominational, Cloak and Dagger,
non-denominational winter solstice gift exchange.
Sorry, I apologize. I'll have to get that down.
I remember in the past we made a very, very strong point of really nailing the branding on that.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure everybody's included. Didn't want to isolate any specific religion, so we simply made it a winter solstice gift exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. We're at I see, and that very well might be a very beautiful bookend to this podcast as we wrap up.
Imagine
at year end.
Oh, I got an idea.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, act like we're not recording right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, what do you think? Because last year we had people sign up, and then we randomly sent out addresses to people. We assigned them.
Yep, and I believe, against all odds,
everybody sent something.
100% success rate.
How about we include me and you in that?
In the circle?
In the circle.
Okay. So you and I, 2 members on staff won't be giving to the other member.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we send half the people your address, half the people my address.
Oh, yeah.
We get all the gifts, and then we shut it down. Then we ghost them all.
We're not recording, right?
No. No, this is not being recorded.
We're going to take those suckers for everything.
Okay, so we're back.
Up to a $10 or $20 limit.
So we're back, and we got a great idea for the...
Oh, you guys are going to love this one. My goodness, is this going to be a hit across the listening community? Now, I don't remember how many people we had last year. I want to say it was in the 40s, Steve.
Was it that many?
I think it was.
15 or
20. No, it was way more than that. So I guess this is an early call. And I don't even know if it's that early, because it takes a few weeks to... It'll take a little bit to put into motion. We need to know, are you in or are you not? Well, actually, if you're not in, I don't care. Are you in on the Steve and Kyle podcast, non-denominational.
Nope.
Steve and Kyle podcast.
The fourth annual
Steve and Kyle podcast, Cloak and Dagger, non-denominational, winter solstice gift exchange. What is that for short, Steve?
That's that would be the
fourth annual.
Oh, so I don't include
No,
FA? Okay.
No.
Okay, so it's the fourth annual. SACP. Okay, the fourth annual SAKP CADNDWSGE.
The SAC put it in a wishing.
I remember we did have a word for it last year. Like we managed to pronounce it out, but
yeah, all we'd have to do is scroll through our Twitter back to last December because everybody, I believe, tagged it.
Oh, okay.
When they posted. So if you want in, how do we want to do this, Steve? Do you just want another message us on Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter.
Or if you use Instagram, you can DM us there, but that is going to be 100% on Steve, as I have deleted Instagram. Not interested.
Okay, so our last episode before the holiday that some people associate with the winter solstice gift exchange, that day of heathens celebrating the birth of their master, will be Tuesday, the 24th of December.
That is Christmas Eve, folks.
Well, some would say that.
Sorry, that is 2 days after the solstice.
So I think that if you want to be included in this, I think we need to give them at least like 2 weeks to send stuff out. So
I say flatly the deadline is December 1.
December 1?
I think that's the deadline. And then you and I...
Over the next couple of days, we'll
have addresses out immediately.
Yeah. Okay, so you heard it right here. By December 1st, you need to send us your name, your mailing address, and be willing to spend roughly $10 to $20, because we haven't really explained what this is.
That's a good point. For all those new listeners,
for all the new listeners out there that didn't take part in this last year, what we do is you send us your name, your address. We randomly assign your name and address to somebody else.
Yep.
Everybody gets randomly assigned a name and address, and then you spend between $10 and $20 on a secret Santa gift for a non-denominational Cloak and Dagger winter solstice gift for them.
Yep. And again, we're saying $10 to $20 because we don't want this to be the episode of The Office
where Michael gets an
iPod at the what do they call that? Elephant.
Oh, White Elephant.
White Elephant gift exchange, and everybody else was handing around, oven mitts and things like that.
Like a doily.
So it's not a hard and fast rule, and I don't know, we can't enforce it anyway. We're just asking you to please, don't be that guy who either sends, a stamp or... and then you end up receiving like a new set of kitchen knives.
Yeah, remember, this is not something that you're obligated to do.
No.
So if you don't have the $10 or $20 laying around, if money's a little bit tight, totally cool.
This isn't a big deal. It's something for the listening community, people who are involved in this podcast and who talk about this, whether it be on social media and they're familiar with us and have hung out with us and on our travels. This is for you. We want to. We love to facilitate it. I loved seeing the posts about the gifts last year.
Yeah, me too.
I loved it because, and it doesn't have to be show related. Don't feel like the onus is on you to make it a show gag gift, whatever, a podcast gift.
I mean,
That's not essential.
Extra points. It is.
But I got an extra sense of joy whenever I saw that. Show related items like the Edmund Fitzgerald being there and the Mackinac Bridge being tied in.
Ugh.
All of these items. It was a true privilege to see that. It was really awesome to have that many people involved last year, and we want to do that, and we want to do it better this year. We want to do it bigger.
Oh boy, that's a tall order.
I want more people
I've
involved.
Looked at the numbers.
They're not going up.
No,
haven't gone up in years.
Straight down.
2016 was the peak. Imagine that. We're still doing it. Peaked more than 3 years ago. We're still here.
All right. So if you want to take part, by December 1st, send us a DM on Twitter or a Facebook message.
Yeah, and I will put out a few posts on both Facebook and Twitter to remind people. And again, you cannot just comment. We're not going to have time and the wherewithal to simply reply to everybody and remind them to send us all the information. If you message us, we will message you back, giving you the guidelines, and then at a later date, we'll give you the address. I would argue, Steve, maybe even December 1st is a little bit too late.
I think that gives them a solid 3 weeks.
To get the gift there, though,
Yeah.
to buy and
that's
give
right,
it
because
there.
you don't know who you're not. It's not like you know the person that this is going to.
Right.
So you can do your shopping now. You can pick
Yeah.
up $10 or $15 in little trinkets if you want now.
Yeah, go ahead and send them Hot Wheels.
So speaking of gifts, Kyle.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of gifts, as I mentioned briefly earlier,
We used hashtag garbage gifts last year.
Okay.
Garbage gift hashtag.
we have some. I have some visitors here at the house this weekend. My mom and my niece and my sister and my sister-in-law, and one of those people brought you a gift.
What?
Hot on the heels of your Frizzies.
Oh my god! Yeah, your family
Your
is.
Frizzies straight fixation styling cream that my brother.
Have you gotten as many gifts from your family as me?
No, not one.
Okay.
Not even one. But my sister said that she had brought a gift for you. So I present to you the gift
No.
that she gave to you.
Stop right now.
Okay.
We have a song for this.
Oh, good Lord.
And I refuse to accept any gift under the pretense that doesn't include this arduously created and specially manicured introduction song.
What'd this take you? 2-3 days?
Yeah, listen, I was in the lab. better part of a work week creating this monstrosity
Monstrosity.
of audio.
I mean, I don't know if that's the way I'd refer to it as, but
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
boy. Just sounds better and better every
You
time
think I
hear
should go back in the lab?
No.
No?
I mean, that one.
You don't want me to
perfect.
touch it up?
Nope, that is perfect.
Make a few little edits.
No,
Make it a little more choppy.
No,
You know?
no, that's impossible. I don't think you could. So here I present to you a gift from my sister, or maybe your sister, since you lovingly refer to my brother as your brother.
Well,
Sister
you know,
Lisa.
your brother Mike was very worried about my hair, and I appreciate that because it's been just windy as all can be over here lately. And so
You wearing some right now?
Yeah, I got a little product. I got a little frizzies up on the dome. So I open this. Oh, look at this! It's cookies.
But read the note.
Is Toby around? Kyle, let's put this oatmeal debate to rest once and for all. Lisa, that's Steve and Kyle's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You gonna give it a try? They look like oatmeal. Are they oatmeal raisin or oatmeal chocolate chip?
that looks like oatmeal chocolate chip.
I swear to God, if it's oatmeal raisin. Although I know you're a huge fan of raisins.
Listen. In an oatmeal cookie, it could be it could be pepperoni. It's all garbage.
You mind if I?
Oh no, Steve! By all counts, dig into the oatmeal. That's a chocolate
that's
chip.
definitely
That's
a chocolate chip, yeah.
Oatmeal chocolate chip.
Oh, smell that. That's fantastic.
Those horses around here coming for breakfast.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
It's chewy. I like a chewy cookie.
That's good. That's a good cookie. What do you think?
I mean, it's not her fault they suck.
Jesus. That's a good cookie.
It's like if you were like cooking with a pile of horse manure and you're trying to make it delicious. I'd argue she did a hell of a job,
So
but you're still dealing with horse manure.
the overall assembly process of the cookies was fantastic.
I see nothing wrong. And again, you almost suckered me in with when it's. A chewy cookie's the best. If you like a not a crispy cookie, but a crunchy cookie over a chewy cookie,
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot. It's chewy
Hey.
cookie.
Common ground.
Oh man, I'll put that on the poll too. Just wait. People are going to be so mad. We're going to have to wait, by the way, because I forgot to post last week's polls until yesterday. We'll cover all of these polls next week.
Oh, okay. So we're not going to get to them.
No, I don't think we we probably shouldn't because it's been there's not a lot of burn on them.
Yeah.
So maybe we let those.
Although usually
permeate.
the initial results kind of.
I'll say this: it's not going to make a difference. It's overwhelmingly in Steve's favor.
Yeah, but a couple of them I thought we agreed on. Didn't we? Guess not. So you're closing up the tin, no doubt.
I just don't want the smell to tempt.
No doubt, so nobody takes them from you, so you can savor them all for yourself.
Yeah, I just don't want the smell to tempt me from further oatmeal cookie. I will say this: I'm not anti-raisin.
Just know this:
chocolate chip makes a big difference in here. It's
a lot
it's a huge
better,
difference.
Right? Yeah, oatmeal raisin is garbage. Raisins in general, garbage. Terrible. I mean, especially if you're a mongrel that eats the worst candy known to man, which most people don't even know still exists, Raisinets.
That's a lie. And slanderous.
And quite hurtful.
You can hear it because it's like oatmeal so dry. The hell's it trying to make me do? Is oatmeal in the back pocket of the water lobby?
And that concludes this week's edition of...
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
Fantastic cookies. Well done.
Lisa, very well put together piece of cookie.
Again, now you're going to have to face her. Face to face when you leave this room.
Again, it's not your fault.
When you leave this, and she's going to be right in your face, and she's going to say, "Did you like the cookies that I baked for you?"
Oh, I'm going to lie to her. By the time this thing comes out, she's well gone.
You'll
right?
be long, yeah.
Yeah, she's hours on hours away from me. I never have to face that music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What if she sends them to you again for Christmas?
I can't. No, they're going in the garbage. I'm not going to see her.
What if she says, "Send me a picture of you enjoying them"?
I'll send her a picture of Kate eating one. Say, I can't, selfies aren't the best for me. I got to weigh out all of this, man. And then they go in the garbage.
Right.
That's the end point.
And then you just hope your paths never cross again.
That's the end point for all of this, is these end up in the garbage.
Katie, like oatmeal?
Oh, I'm sure she... Yeah. Reed does, too. I'll throw one in the dog food bowl. Let the dogs fight over them. Go out back to the stables. Give the rest to the horses.
All right, so
munch on this slop.
So we had a listener. Was it one of the brothers Humphrey?
It is.
That sent
one
us,
half of the brothers Humphrey, Steve.
What is the story behind this? I know he sent us some.
Well, first of all,
some audio arts and crafts.
We have mail.
Oh, of course.
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
Thank you, Pig.
Sally's getting a lot of work on this podcast.
So you had alerted me during the week. You said, "Hey, check the email account. Looks like we got a 30 for 30."
We have some listener-made audio from one half of the aptly named Brothers Humphrey. Mm-hmm. Steve, you and I named them that when I felt physically threatened after they lent me cash.
They are
to buy a poster.
They're an intimidating duo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you saw them walking on the sidewalk, you cross the street.
They look like a wrestling tag team. Like one, but
ooh, yeah.
not like the high flyers. They're the ones that will like eat nails because they know it'll intimidate you.
They're the ones who, when they get to the ring, they come in with, a couple of pieces of lumber and
something wrapped in barbed wire,
and a bag of tacks. And they just throw it all over the ring, and they say, "All right, time to do some damage."
And then they win the match, but then they turn on each other, beat the crap out of each other.
No question.
There are no rules for the Brothers Humphrey.
They're the type of guys that at one point during the match, they're going to climb to the top turnbuckle. And, you'll see some videos when they jump off, and it's like a big rainbow-style arc. Mm-hmm. But this is more like a dead person's heartbeat. It's just flat. And then they just fall to the mat.
But it's really effective.
Because, it's a person falling straight down on you.
Yeah.
That's the Brothers Humphrey in a nutshell.
Yeah, so now if you ever see those guys,
cross the street.
cross the street.
Now, we've never given them their due. They have started, Steve, their very own podcast.
I heard that.
Inside the Mind of the Brothers Humphrey, or with the Brothers Humphrey, that they record literally in a closet.
Okay.
I've seen a video of them walking into a closet that they crunch into. Now, these two...
So is it like a coat closet, or is it is it a walk-in closet at least?
No. I have seen a video of these two, and now these two, I think they would agree, they're not like petite men.
No, they're big dudes.
They're grown-ass men, sitting in a closet recording across from each other. So that is Inside the Mind with the Brothers Humphrey. They have started that, and they reference that in this letter. I'm not going to read all of this. It's a very long email, very nice, very kind things said to you and I, Steve, and we don't like to pander to ourselves. We'll do that off air when we talk to each other about how great we are.
Yes, high fives all around.
But now you have a little experience with this one half of the Brothers Humphrey, Stephen, because you are the reason he listens.
Mm-hmm.
He
initially listened, hated it, and was extremely vocal about how much he hated it.
So he said last year, while driving in the pitch black of third shift, driving in northern Michigan, I found myself falling asleep. After a few minutes, I turned it off.
Boy, this sounds like every other review that we've ever gotten.
I tried it again in 2017 when your side gig was on winter solstice break, and had no choice. I was again told by the other half, Jeremy, the other half of the Brothers Humphrey, to try it again because, quote, it's funny. My response to him that night was Z's, just a long list of Z's. So that was it. He was done. Tried and failed until April.
Boy, love all these compliments.
April 2018, Steve, at the Live at Night show after party. Definitely didn't go to that. Ugh. Left that thing in the first quarter. Awful. On a bigger stage. Oh, good. Sorry, I digress. Woo.
Oh, boy.
I was in a zone there.
I'm sorry, yeah. I
we still
out.
On?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we're
geez,
still recording.
You should have stopped me. Didn't even realize. Drunk Steve met Drunk Steven, and Steven told you, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yep. I remember exactly where it was in the little bar that the party was at. I could walk in there right now and walk to the spot that I was standing on.
And this is the point
it's like,
where...
you know how if you're driving through Dallas, pass by that school book depository where your hero once worked.
Do you think JFK still knows the spot?
You can go to the exact spot where the deed was done. Mm-hmm. There's a little
where the accident
star
happened?
the accident, the misfire. You can see the little star painted on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think John still knows the spot?
Mm-hmm.
And now you remember this part well, Steve, because you, and kudos to you and a thank you to you, this is where you gained us a listener.
How did I do that?
You implored him, try it one more time. Just give it a shot.
Yep.
And he did.
I do remember that.
And he did. He went back 1 week, and, quote, apparently we were on it that day. It's pretty rare.
What day was that?
It had, well,
we should go back and listen.
If he found it, when was the Live at Night show? I think it was right there. It's on your shirt. No, that was this year.
That's this year, yeah.
But it was probably that same weekend last year.
Yeah. So probably April, sometime in April or late March, early April.
That moment on the next episode, Kyle said he saw Steve signing someone's chest, and it was Steven.
Yeah.
Tried to get him. He wouldn't sign it.
I wouldn't.
That's what he said. Said Steve wouldn't sign it. And now here is where I think Steven thinks this is a compliment. It's not. He said, I said in a tweet recently, 2018 was the best year for Steve and Kyle. 2019 came. I don't know what it is with people who write to us.
Is it then 2019 came?
I don't know.
Because
I said in a tweet recently, 2018 was the best year for Steve and Kyle, period. 2019 came, period.
See, because if it had said, then 2019 came, then that means like, oh, I thought 2018 was good. Then 2019 came, and it's been even better. See, that's my half glass full.
Yeah. So to go on, he decided when you guys were at, I don't know, summer camp this year, did you do something like summer camp? You guys all went to, camp by the lake and did archery.
Archery, exactly. Like ride horses.
Do ceramic, ceramic vases you guys made for Mom to send home.
Made a big slip and slide into the lake.
Oh, man, that sounds great.
That does sound great, honestly. That sounds really fun.
A lot better than what you actually did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this year, definitely.
He's here to say that he has completed his full binge.
Wow.
Since August of this year, he has binged the entire Steve and Kyle podcast.
170 episodes. Since August?
He slimmed it down, took the videos out. Without today's episode, now this was written last week, all episodes of Sport Tate. Kyle, the real fans like me want more. Well, nobody else does. A total of 16 days, 2 hours, and 33 minutes.
Of straight listening?
Or 386 hours and 33 minutes. Took him just under 3 months. Being I only listened on work, 57 days he listened to 386 hours of you and I.
So 57 days, because we've done, 160 episodes. So you listen to roughly 3 episodes a day.
That's about 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
7 hours a work day.
Wow.
Of us.
Good job.
I'm loyal from the beginning fan now, right?
Loyal from the beginning. Well, no, you're
not really.
No, you're loyal.
You actually told us we suck multiple times.
Loyal from not loyal from the beginning. Loyal from roughly the midway point.
Yeah. Loyal from when you visited us in Van Wert.
Yeah, very loyal.
And at that point, hadn't heard the whole podcast.
Yeah. So, that's weird. So you went to Van Wert to hang out, having no idea why you were there.
Nope. He'd listened. I think he had listened since that 2018, but he'd never gone back to the start.
What if he had found out later that the reason that we were in Van Wert was for something terrible?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's our the white supremacist rally, and he's like, yeah,
let's go visit the guys.
But he had no clue.
Here's a tiki torch. Sure.
Until 6 months later, he was listening to it like, wait a minute, that's me.
But I digress. You guys are funny. I've eaten crow a few times for being a doubter, and I'm sorry. Don't listen to any of the clowns when they say you've changed. That was just S. Robbie Mac. The other people just stopped listening.
Yeah, we clarified with him last week.
You guys
He's the one that's changed. He had a kid.
Yeah, not our fault. Idiot. You guys are just as dumb as day one.
All right, there we go.
Feels like I'm shooting the breeze with my pals, etc. He goes on and on, talks about how I helped him a little bit with getting their own podcast off the ground in terms of what to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes through a rapid-fire answer to a lot of the debates that have plagued this podcast.
Hold on. I just thought of something that I think another podcast stole from us, and I need to bring
Wait.
it up. Just you saying rapid fire.
Well, let me finish this summary before we get to the audio. Before I go, Mike and Ike's are delicious.
No.
Thank you to the Mike and Ike Army. Raisinets are delicious.
Oh, garbage. You're a terrible person. Stop listening.
I absolutely love covered bridges.
Okay. Hey.
But hashtags team suspension bridge all the way.
What? No, you can no, it's one or the other. You don't get to have 1 foot in each in each side on that.
Welcome to team suspension bridge. I have literally stopped and looked at the Mackinac Bridge for an hour. Well, that's not a ringing endorsement of who I have on board. You know who else does that?
Look at a bridge. It's metal and big.
I would be in for a movie night, but I don't like talking to my neighbors. Welcome aboard. I don't think haunted houses are the same as movie night, because they're not, because Steve's dumb.
That's...
But now here's where he goes wrong. I didn't think Kyle could learn the piano in 6 hours.
You're still standing by that.
Oh, more than ever. And apparently, now this is the most shocking part of this email, Steve. Being I'm a cello player.
What?
You've met and you have interacted with both halves of the Brothers Humphrey.
Yeah. We've spent, meaningful time together.
We've
shared a meal with them in Van Wert.
If cello player were on the Brothers Humphrey dartboard, it would have to be the triple 20, right? Or no, the inner bullseye.
Yeah. That's shocking.
Right in front of neuroscientist.
All right, so continue on being that he's a cello player.
I've known a few people who could tickle the ivories, but if you don't start at a young age, it'll be almost impossible as an adult to play it. Well, that's just not true. That's just not true. Call Annette.
No, Annette will. She will not back him on that.
No,
She'll
call Annette. Tell her to get that damn thing down here.
Oh, good. We get to bring it back to collect dust.
Oh well. I'm sorry. Would it take up the place of the heater?
Hey, that thing is nice. You know it.
Especially something as skilled as Malt Shop Bop by K-Mac. I don't think you're listening to the same song we are. The last one I remember, apples are way better than peaches, and then he devolves into this idea that he fact-checked Tommy Edo not being able to eat a Jonah Gold in school because they weren't created till after Tommy Edo would be out of school.
Okay.
Sorry I was late on the email. Hope it finds you. I'll leave it all up to you if you play or read this on the podcast. Until next Tuesday, one half of the Brothers Humphrey, Stephen Humphrey. And again, along with this whole email, it may have been hard to tell because it sounds like it was punched at by a bird that happened to get words out, just rambling. This was all in regards to his journey, Steve, to binge listen to the Steve and Kyle podcast, which he did, as you heard, in under 3 months. So he made some audio for us, no doubt, from the In the Closet studios, inside the minds with the Brothers Humphrey. This is our very own listener-made 30 for 30.
What if I told you, just under 3 months ago, when the side gig went to radio camp, a man would start a journey. The journey of glory. What if I told you, just 165 episodes, or 385 hours and 32 minutes, or if you'd like, 16 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, give or take a brisk 90, that journey would be complete. What if I told you I heard Malt Shop Bop so many freaking times I could probably learn it in 6 hours on the Idiot Machine? What if I told you there's not enough Steve E. Tortellinis or Pirate Pete Realty for me to have? The Steve and Kyle podcast proudly presents one half of the Brothers Humphrey, the journey from start to inconclusive?
Well done.
Oh,
man. He hit everything. He even had the ending perfectly where it ends with an up inflection.
It always has to end on a question, and I don't know why that is. But that's the only way a proper 30 for 30 can be recorded. Well, that was delightful.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Mr.
you so
Humphrey.
much, Steve and Humphrey. You're obviously the more talented half of the Brothers Humphrey, seeing as you made that. Lord knows what Jeremy can even do. Was he just munching on an oatmeal cookie next to you? Worthless.
I enjoyed that from start to finish.
Well, thank you. Yeah, oh man, I will always accept that. I will always accept listener audio projects. I say that full well knowing that somebody, I believe it was Esther Robbie Mack, had made a History of the Mystery podcast on audio that we never played or discussed. But if you make something like that, odds are we're going to get to that because, oh my gosh, does that give me just nothing but joy.
Oh, boy.
But you shook me to my core.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer? I guess I should ask before we talk about this. Do you have an answer on if you found what you're looking for?
I wasn't. No, I don't have any audio proof for you. Or I don't have any audio examples.
But you have some anecdotes?
I do. I was listening to a podcast when I was traveling the other day, and it was something that the topic is something that I love, and it's the TV show The Office. I'm sure that you're in the same boat. Big fan of The Office.
Yeah. Was the podcast the new one by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey?
The Office Ladies.
Hey,
yes.
the two of the female leads started their own podcast
Pam
discussing
and
The Office.
Angela from The Office.
Now it's not a episode by episode breakdown. It's literally
it is.
Is it really?
No,
They're watching an episode,
talking
about it
on a weekly basis. They watch one episode. And then they record a podcast talking about the episode that they watched.
Where do you think Angela Kinsey finds the time with all that acting work she has?
She is lovely, by the way.
Yeah, everything I've read about her is that
she's the complete opposite of her character.
Yeah.
Where her character was just, I believe she says in one of the episodes, like Angela was just annoyed by everything. That was her default setting.
That's a fair way to put it.
So yeah, they watch an episode, talk about the episode. In some cases, they've only recorded I think 3 of them so far. So I've listened to all 3.
Okay,
it seems like they're starting off very bare basics. First couple episodes, it was them just talking. On one of the episodes, they had a couple of clips in there, which was nice to hear.
Okay.
And in the most recent one, they were talking about the episode Healthcare. It was the third episode that came out where Dwight was tasked with picking the new healthcare plan for the whole office.
I believe he sent out a survey of, do you have these ailments?
Yes.
And was asking people to check yes or no,
Yeah.
which is obviously just ridiculous and massive violations. Okay. Yep.
So, and they even had Rainn Wilson on.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they called him up.
Well,
and
again, he's probably not doing the same amount as Angela.
he's doing a podcast too now, apparently, because everyone does a podcast now.
Just muscling in our territory.
But at the beginning of the first episode, Pam, or Jenna Fisher, they're talking about how the podcast is going to go on a weekly basis. Like, we're each going to watch an episode, and then we'll, Angela takes notes on note cards. I type them out on a computer. Ha, ha, ha. Then we'll talk about it. And then they get to the point where they're going to start talking about the first episode, the pilot episode. Mm-hmm. Jenna Fisher says, "Oh, Angela, I'm thinking we should do a segment called Fast Facts."
No. Wait. What? No. What?
Fast Facts. That's cute, right?
Oh, okay. Assuredly, it'd be different than,
Hey, Jenna. Jenna, I know you're listening to this, since it seems like you steal all of your ideas from us, your heroes. So we appreciate it, but any segment that begins with the word fast, we got. It's all ours.
You maybe hobnobbing with a few guys named Greg and Chris? Huh? Because don't think this has been a years-long issue with people stealing our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't think, and I tweeted about it. Don't think I didn't see the poll. Your side gig shooting the breeze about Meatloaf a few weeks ago. They couldn't even get on the level of the same year that we've had that discussion about Meatloaf.
Oh, that's right. We did talk Meatloaf.
Yeah, well, that's about what it takes. It takes about a year for our good content to filter down to those yahoos. It's like it's slowly working its way through a clogged pipe. Are they going to... What's next week? They got a big bit about Van Wert?
I feel like you're getting sidetracked.
Sorry.
We were talking...
Sorry. Are we still on? We recording?
We're on.
Man, you got to tell me when the mics are on. I feel like...
So yeah, imagine my surprise as I'm sitting there on an airplane, zipping along at 30,000 feet, and I hear her steal our facts.
Oh, you should have just...
Steal our segment title. Well, one word from a two-word title.
It's theft. Absolute theft. We've got Kendall Jenner trying to trademark Rise and Shine. We had LeBron James trying to trademark Taco Tuesday.
Ohio State University trying to trademark the.
So what's stopping us, you and I, Steve, from trademarking...
The word fast?
The word fast. And then Vin Diesel will owe us all the money.
The word fast, but used in segment titles in a podcast. I don't know if they'll give us the whole word for all of eternity.
Could we try to... No, we couldn't. Yeah, I believe literally the fifth movie in the Fast and Furious franchise was Fast 5.
Was it really?
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to give us that if we even try to do Fast 5.
Oh, I never do that.
Hear me out. The Fast 5.
Oh, there we go.
Huh?
Yeah, that works.
Because it feels like it's all willy-nilly on it when they grant these and when they don't. Because, I mean, what was surrounding the birthday song? That wasn't trademarked, but it wasn't...
because it was public domain, right? Because it had been so long...
Sure.
Since it was, written.
But initially it was trademarked or whatever. So maybe we can get it.
Think we can get Fast 5?
I think we shoot for the moon and we file a patent or a trademark for the Fast 5.
Or just Fast Facts. We'll just take it right from them.
Ooh, yeah, then they owe us every...
Then we have to be on their episodes.
Every listen they...
Imagine that, if that's our way to shoehorn ourselves into just talking about The Office with two of the people that were on the show.
Yeah, but they'd hate us because we're on there by legal action only.
Yeah, we don't want a monetary settlement. We just want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, and it's just you and I talking about our podcast, which has nothing to do with The Office. Just to siphon listeners.
I wouldn't even do that. I just want to talk about The Office all the time. I love that show.
I have a million questions, and they wouldn't answer any of them.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think they'd be very, very welcoming.
Well, not the first time, Steve. That's part of the deal here. We come up with the good ideas and don't get the listeners, and then, other people steal them.
Remember that Michael Phelps meme that went around after the last Olympics when he won all those medals, and he's swimming and he's out in front, and you see the other dude in the other lane swimming, looking over at him. They say winners don't. Winners focus on
what's ahead.
Winning.
Yeah.
Losers focus on what the winners are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we the winners or the losers?
I'm not really sure, but I thought that somebody could Photoshop us
Ooh,
in.
I'll answer. We're the losers.
We weren't on a TV show.
We don't have listeners.
No.
We don't have a radio show.
No.
Those are the people that steal from us.
Yeah.
I believe we had somebody even... I forget what podcast it was, and if it was you, please message us and let us know if you're still doing it. That was going to utilize a bit related to 2 minutes of awkward conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Which is literally just call someone. That's it.
Call someone, talk for more than 2 minutes.
Listen, I didn't listen to our podcast from last week, but I go back and pick stuff out for the intro that I've talked about. And, I think 10 minutes, 8 minutes, like long phone calls last week. Ooh, maybe we can trademark that.
Long phone calls?
2 minutes of awkward conversation.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, nobody's ever going to use it.
No.
But I think...
Why don't we also trademark Lawnmower Cracker Jacks?
Viewer mail time?
I think that one might be taken. And considering we stole the intro from something else.
What's that?
I mean, we didn't steal.
Hours in the lab, Steve. Precisely manicuring an audio selection for the delight of our listeners' ears.
I like how you call it the lab.
I was grinding away. Hey, you shut the soundproof door and, hey, honey, sorry, you're going to have to read for a little bit. I'm going to be in the lab. I get the audio lab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot, boy, to recap today, we need to know if you're going to be at the live show in Grand Rapids in 3 weeks.
Well, first of all, we need to know, I think we have to have a poll up this week about if you're a time change complainer.
I already got 3 polls written down.
What do we got?
Is 3 hours an acceptable time zone change to complain about? Okay. Is that a fair way to put it?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Your stance on that is yes, right? My stance on that is yes.
I don't know. I kind of waffle on 3 hours, but again, my example was Las Vegas, where it's a bit of a different breed.
I think it depends on what. Are you going there for work? You going there for pleasure? Because if you're going there for pleasure, just for vacation, you can sleep it off a little bit.
How did you handle when you and Annette went out to Denver last year? Or no, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. That was.
Did you feel it?
That was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember there being slept in a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question to ask, though. 3 hours is. I think that's where people are going to fall one way or the other.
I think that I would say I'll probably be a yes on that.
Yeah. And then I did write down. We didn't really talk about it, but is there anything worse than flying? There's not. Not. You heard Steve's story. Supposed to be home at 5.
Yeah.
Got home. What time was that?
I don't know. I really don't. Yeah.
Not 5.
Yeah,
it's the key. Nothing worse than flying. There's no other instance in America where you're so at the mercy. It's that and the doctor, like the hospital. It's like you're just at the mercy. Like, well, there's literally nothing I can do.
The crazy thing about the airline industry too is like, what other industry can just indefinitely delay you or cancel something you've already paid for?
Yeah.
And in no way reimburse you.
It's unbelievable.
Because why shouldn't, in that case, I got home 6 hours later, I think, 5 hours later than I was supposed to get home. Look, I get it. Things happen. But I pay you to get me there. Why aren't I entitled to some of that back?
Yep.
Like, why shouldn't, if my ticket was $300, why can't they say, like, all right, we'll give you $40 back? Okay. I mean, it's not
better than nothing.
It's not great, but it's, like, there should be checks and balances with that.
Ugh. There's nothing worse. I hate it. I dread it every time I do it, or I know it's coming up. I dread it. But I know it's a necessary evil to go visit the stupid things I want to go visit.
Right.
And lastly, chewy or crunchy cookie?
Chewy.
Those will all be on the poll this week. At Steve and Kyle on Twitter, at Facebook. Please find them there.
I'm going to one-up you. Warm chewy cookie. Take a chewy cookie, throw it in the microwave for like 15 seconds so this chocolate chip can get a little soft. Yeah.
You ever do that? You throw a little ice cream on top? A little halo top?
Oh,
a little warmed up chewy cookie?
Let's not. So why don't we not ruin it by naming a particular brand of ice cream? let's just say ice cream, your favorite variety. Because if you say Halo Top, I'm going to punch you square in the nose.
Oh, so yeah, please be sure to vote on those at Steve and Kyle all over social media where you can find us.
Mm-hmm. Do we have anything else we want to get to today?
No, I believe your sister and niece were looking to get down here.
Do you want to give a quick description of this right here? Good old D.I. Kyle, or as I call him, Dick Kyle, was back in action.
Nobody says that, and that would be rude if you did.
So if next time you see Kyle walking through the local home improvement store, say, "Hey, Dick Kyle, how's it going?"
Or, and hear me out on this counterpoint, don't.
You know.
Okay, I posted some pictures
Potato, I guess.
on our social media at Steve and Kyle. Last week, I think it was, Steve.
Saw that.
And
bloody finger?
Yeah, a couple of bloody fingers. And they only got word. It was one of those cuts that wasn't like, just a straight down. It was one of those side, so it sheared. So it like sheared off a flap of skin.
Oh, yeah.
And
don't like that.
And so you can feel it, but it doesn't really do anything until you put even a tiny bit of pressure, and it like kind of just breaks that last seal, and then, oh, hey, here's some blood. Boop,
yep.
And starts popping through and leaking. So let me describe to you, Steve, what I was doing, because I'm a terrible homeowner. I've talked about this in excess.
Well, we were already talking, before we started recording, we were already talking about your next project, the TV mount.
Yeah, and I'm recruiting you. You're the TV mounting master.
I'm in.
I've mounted one TV. It went fine, but I wasn't doing
I already got a plan.
This.
I already got a plan for like some corner braces, put a board across, mount it into the board.
Oh, wow. I was going to buy a specific corner mount.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
A little more expensive, but I'm willing to indulge here.
Yeah. I guess if you want to.
So let me describe to you what I was doing.
I don't do it that way. Just take the easy way out.
Is that the easy way out? Would that just be the proper way to do it? Instead of mounting a 2x4 and...
Oh. Again. Take the easy way out if you want.
That's fair. It's hard to argue. You're the guy who's done this successfully. I don't know how I...
Look at that. Look at that right there. Give it a tug. Go ahead.
You want?
Yeah, go ahead. Pretty solid, right?
Solid as a rock.
Yeah.
Thing's not going anywhere. So I'm a terrible homeowner. And for years, I've had both our bedroom door and our bathroom door. They won't shut properly. Okay. So when I push them shut, the lock or the part of the lock will not go into the
recess in the door jamb.
So the what is it? The strike plate or whatever. It won't go in, so I can't fully shut the bathroom or bedroom door.
Mm-hmm. So you can shut it, but it just won't latch.
Correct. So I decided this a couple of weeks ago. I'm done with this. It's a hassle, and it's nonsense. I've owned this home for it's been almost 5 years. So I found essentially the easiest solution was to try, if the strike plate where the lock was striking the wall, if it was close-ish, to try to kind of carve out using a drill a little bit more on the bottom or the top or the side wherever it wasn't hooking in. So I went and did that. That's what I was doing. I was going to do that on both doors. Mm-hmm. So, Steve, do you have any guess at what point in this process I cut? And I'll show you. You can see a little wound there. Mm-hmm. And a little wound. It's a little heel, but right there.
Yep.
On two adjoining fingers, the thumb and the pointer finger on my left hand. At what point in this process of me trying to drill out a little bit extra piece of the hole in the wall or the hole in the door frame to get the lock to hook? At what point did I injure myself?
How?
There, in that area.
I don't know, because I can't imagine why you would. Like, were you holding onto the drill bit for some reason?
Would it surprise you to know that it was before the project took place?
Sure wouldn't. Were you trying to tighten the drill bit into the chuck of the drill?
Would it surprise you to know that it happened before that?
Okay. Were you using a knife for something?
Steve, this happened when I was simply trying to get the drill bit out of its case. And it was in there a little snug, so I had wrapped 2 fingers around and tried to pull, and I was pulling, and it was not coming out. Good chance I may have put the wrong bit into the wrong hole, and that's why it was a little snug.
Did you have to hammer it in there?
Possibly. So, at one point, I'd wrapped my fingers around it at those 2 points and pulled and shoo.
Yeah, you know that like drill bits.
Yeah,
they're cutting implements.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't think that.
Oh, you would.
No. I mean, you'd think they're
they cut through wood.
No, it's for drilling.
Right, drilling is cutting.
I mean, potato, tomato. So it happened to where I pulled the fingers off, and it was one of those, without getting overly descriptive, where you could still see a little bit of residual on the drill bit.
Yeah.
And I look at my finger, and it's one of those where it's kind of like a flap. Yeah. A flap of skin.
That's the worst.
And it's what I described, where you're like, oh, man, it's not just going to stay that way, is it? And sure enough, it didn't. And it just started pouring down my thumb and my pointer finger.
Yep.
Didn't even make it to the DI Kyle before I injured myself.
That was it then.
No. I got it out. I'm sitting there with my left hand, like with a paper towel smashed between 2 fingers, held in the air, while I'm trying to carve out part of the strike plate area on 2 doors.
Were you successful?
It worked for 1 day.
Nice. So not that much different from when we put in the double price, half size Hobbit door or whatever we called it.
Yeah, the double price, half size Hobbit hole door in the APS 2.0, which cost way too much money for the specific size
like
we needed.
$225 for that door that was like half the size of a regular door.
Yep.
I still don't understand how they can charge you twice
for half.
And it was a good winter or a fall winter door, but not that great of a spring summer door.
You and I at that point had decided, hey, just come over. We'll do it before we record. And we were sitting there. It must have been 2 hours.
What the hell were we thinking?
We were jamming shims.
We had there was one point where we had 3.5 inches thick of shims on.
It was ridiculous. There was just no way around it. And the best we got it was to where it would. I don't even think it would hit the frame. The door stopped outside the frame. It was that far off when we installed it.
Yeah.
But like you said, we were just planning for the other seasons.
Yeah.
Because when fall and winter came along, and temperatures changes lumber and it changes things in your home.
Expansion and contraction.
A little bit. It closed beautifully.
Yeah, perfect.
For 4 months out of the year.
I think that was around
like a charm.
So probably closed well when we were selling the house, which probably I bet that was the reason we sold the place.
I still think we need to message those people, call them up, see if they utilize that room for anything.
Imagine if they do a podcast and it's better than ours.
No doubt it's more listened to. No question. The new Basement APS 2.0 podcast is already more successful than this one at 170 plus episodes.
I wonder what it would cost if they would let us go back and record there.
Think pay them rent?
Yeah. We got to come in there for
2.0, 2 hours a week.
2 hours a week.
Yeah.
We'll do all of our prep before we get there, so we just go in, flip it on, record.
So your idea is to go sit in a different family's basement, record this, and then leave.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
Hey, APS 4.0. 20 never.
Are we doing Fast Five?
To hell with it.
Yeah, it's already been picked up by another podcast, no doubt.
Yeah. Jenna Fisher
successful.
and Angela Kinsey right now are upgrading their bit from Fast Facts to the Fast Four, and they realize they have too many facts.
And they're interesting.
And they're actually good.
Yeah. I do enjoy it. I enjoy that podcast. It's not great.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting podcast.
Yeah. Be
Talk
sure
about the inside scoop on all the episodes.
There's too many.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're probably talking a matter of weeks before John Krasinski opens up his own office-related podcast.
Yeah. The Johncast.
Be sure to vote in the polls that we mentioned. Steve will talk about that. But also, if you want in on the Steve and Kyle podcast, Cloak and Dagger, fourth annual Steve and Kyle podcast, Cloak and Dagger, non-denominational Winter Solstice gift exchange, please send us a message on Facebook or Twitter to let us know. Send us your name and your address so we know that you are in, and we can put you on the list before we randomize at the deadline. Less than a month away. Let us know if you're in.
Yeah, that'll be fun if we could do that. Make it bigger than last year.
I love it.
Really
bigger and better, folks.
But yeah, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Steve and Kyle. And you can always call or text your questions, comments, or concerns, 424-30-SK-POD. That's 424-307-5763. We'll talk to you next week. Be sure to vote on all those polls.
Here's a laundry list.